Hello, buddy, it's me, Dark Movie Side here, doing a live stream, a StreamYard live stream. I'm watching this video of me meet Classic, me and Martin. Well, hi there.
I have so ready to deck my 5 You can try, but you will get decked faster than you even think about. Anyways,
beat hasn't been updated in years, Beachball.
Really? I can literally make clothes about myself. Have you not seen the Sonic?
You need chaos ammo for that. Get that straight.
Yeah, I know. That's a new ability that you didn't have.
Again, that's with a chaos ammo, not by yourself.
Actually, technically, doesn't he also
I-
have the... Wait a minute,
No.
wait a minute. Doesn't he also have those Sonic Frontiers abilities that you don't have? He has the Psy-Loop. He has those Sonic Cyclone kicks. He has more abilities than you now. So you shut up!
Well, actually, Sonic Superstars haven't came out yet, but so far, people who played the game said that I got more abilities than Modern Me and Frontiers, so he has to use a DLC to get.
You're using Chaos Emeralds. That's a complete difference.
Okay, I'm using Chaos Emeralds.
I'm using actual natural prowess. You're using Chaos Emeralds to do that.
No, just think about this though, right? I'm using Chaos Emeralds, right?
Yeah.
You won't fucking admit it!
Jeez.
What are your toes?
Well, I had a bad attitude in this video. Jeez.
We need to chill. We're in Green Hill Zone, South Island. We have to chill.
Do I look chill to you?
Can't be.
Do I look chill
Anyone,
to you?
you want to
I'm
join?
gonna ask you, try to calm down, man.
I will pull you in.
And that anger does not seem. That anger doesn't seem helping. If you do not shut up, Classic Me, I'll literally punch you in the face.
Try it.
You know I can do it anyways.
I'm gonna do it for you. Damn, you come in, you stupid baseball. Where'd you go? I can't see because this aura. Damn.
Movie.
Wow,
Calm down, man.
he is so
Ignore what
annoying.
he's saying. I think he's just being stupid. Just ignore him right now. You're a little, so left jerk. Shut your trap.
Yeah, shut up, CrossFit.
Think of how it makes you happy, man. Do good things. Come on.
Yes.
Think about your friends, your family. Hell, even think about your dog. Hell, think about all the things that make you good. Come on. Man, there you go, man. You good now?
I'm fine. I'm not gonna listen to Pointy Shoot, Elvin, Toad, and Beachball over there. He doesn't even have pupils.
You just got Steven Universe.
As soon as once when you grow into him and you hit puberty, then talk to me.
Exactly.
You still haven't hit puberty and you're still like ugly. So if I at least I look better looking than you.
I am in his end. I'm not gonna listen to this radio sounding classic little piece of crap.
At least I'm not a loser sounding hedgehog of excuse of Sonic that loses every movie. Really, no idea what he's doing. He is a loser.
No, he's not.
Look at him. He's talking about
He earned his spot, Classic Me. He earned his spot.
Unlike Boom Sonic, let's be honest. Boom Sonic's worse.
Boom Sonic is way better than you.
What? No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He is way worse.
Yeah, he is way worse.
He's worse than you. He's worse than me. He's worse than him. Hell, he's even worse than Ugly Sonic from that stupid Chipmunks
Oh
movie.
my gosh, don't remind me.
Don't mind me that.
Exactly.
I'd rather be friends with Mario than ever accept him as a Sonic.
Wait, is he still at that Mario phase?
I think he's still.
Hey.
Oh wow, you are so
Hey.
behind.
Like I know he's a young.
I look
man.
so cool. You think?
Cool, my new icon.
You like it?
Yep.
People better not call me Barney because of the color.
Nope.
Remember that video? Knuckles called me Barney. Oh,
Pickles dark music Sonic that
people call me Barney because of the color. My fur.
26. Yeah, get some riders.
Okay, at this point, I'll get what you do, man. He's a little bit different than me. Like, feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay.
Kawahara, you're always wearing a mask, aren't you?
I will.
We watch it.
I try and choose a video. That's all.
It burns. You should watch this short called "It Burns."
Nah. I'll watch that later.
Is it echoey? It burns. You see my TikTok.
Yeah, I will watch your TikTok video. I will. Nah, I'm not gonna play any music because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube.
There.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Did you watch game theory videos?
Nah, I never watch them.
It burns.
Okay, you like sing songs.
Who's Princess Cat the Hedgehog?
Okay. Okay. This is gonna be so cool.
I wrote
Oh yeah.
something that's sad.
Of course he do that woohoo face.
Yeah.
Why?
Boop.
Boop. Woohoo. Or
You.
why are you like booking me?
Funny.
Do that your future girlfriend.
Who?
You know I said.
Who you talking about?
Yeah,
Jeez.
girlfriend.
Yes.
What's her name?
This one.
I know you want to smooch her.
Yeah.
Okay. Woohoo.
Yes. Snapchat.
I don't have that. Okay, it's a long time I did a 3-yard live stream.
Well, but like I'm getting horny.
Okay. I'm gonna find a good video to watch. Ooh, that felt painful.
It burned, burned, burned.
Man, you're ridiculous.
No,
You sure?
no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You can't take away dodge.
Shh, you're so silly. I'm looking for a good video. Wait. Course Fleetway had a dark form course.
Fine, Luigi. Let's watch that instead.
Okay, it says, oh, it's the first video.
Toxic therapy from your vape.
Oh,
Sleep. Listen,
why the commercials all the time?
your
Jeez.
friends all bailed on you. Your crush thinks you're thirsty. The planet is tired. Keep obsessing till 5 a.m.
The
Even
mic
the
is
truth
doing this.
associated with sleep problems. Find solutions at thetruth.com.
Course about vapes.
What do you know? What's the matter?
Wait, who was that?
You scared?
It's just a video.
Just gonna stand there. You'll die. Damn it.
That's his real voice. Though.
That's more like
It's the first video.
They're playing Frontiers music. I might get copyrighted.
Huh?
They're playing Frontiers music.
Oh, jeez. But no, I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. You know me skip that song?
But
You say you heard listen to that music and oh yeah. Oh no, I gotta skip that. Why that playing that? Now that I could make it really now, man. I don't. What am I gonna do? I can't watch this video because the stupid song. What am I gonna do? 9.
I don't know.
Man,
We'll just watch the Sonic Prime trailer.
yeah, man, dang it. Oh, I don't want to get trouble on YouTube. God dang it.
I took someone's channel down.
I'm gonna get that. Nah, I'm not gonna watch that because sometimes YouTube is stupid. Man, YouTube's so stupid now, and because some songs are copyrighted and can't release in any fields. I'm calling you out now because it's not really a big deal. Okay, so I can't watch that video because of the song.
It's hard to remember the last time I was this nervous in the presence of an animal. You get bit. It's almost certain death.
Yeah.
I'm shaking right now like my feet are tingling.
Wow.
Right now, I am out tide pulling in Eastern Australia.
I might
in search of the deadliest creature
be on
planet.
this live stream on 7/10. Yeah, that could be a good idea. Okay, so I better not get in trouble on YouTube. Because the songs, I can't play any songs here because stupid YouTube. What the heck? Okay, so okay. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. I'm play. I like this. I can't watch a videos on YouTube because why they have a stupid song is copyright and I can't watch it. I'm playing some Roblox. And I don't want to get in trouble. So that'll be a good thing. Because people will make a big deal about it. I'll play this game. The music play, I'm gonna turn it off anyway because I'm gonna get in trouble on YouTube. Man, I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. Good then, turn off the stupid music. It's a good thing how the game is being me in there. I know this. The look at me in this game is me with white eyeballs. Just white eyeballs. Just white eyeballs. But it's still me. No. True. Oh. Mm. With the silly, I'll play that. But it's not any copyright music, so that's a good thing. No, that's not copyright. That's a good thing. There you go. Okay. Try. I'm try not to get caught. Beast. Because I'm burning out. Okay. I'm not helping that person. Nope. Sorry, but I want safe. Ooh. It's a good thing I'm doing good. Oh, man, people are idiots. Oh, it's a good thing I'm a pro hacker. Okay, so I'm not so bad with these people. Be right there, eh? I'm sorry. Hard not get caught. Go through the door, cause people are terrible hackers. That's why I'm being good. That's sometimes. No. How she knows? Ah. I open here and I'll make it quicker. Hurry up, be gone. Always smart, Figgy. Sometimes I'm getting nervous. One, cause you don't know where the beast's at. Hurry up. Yes. Whew. Man, that make your heart race quick. Oh, my blood pressure's getting up. High up. Not all, so it's a good thing, but. On my, yeah. On. There we go. Yep. What's this feel? It's some psalmist. Something about pure bee honey and honeybee honey. You know? We'll see who's more teethier. Yeah.
You're like covered in bees right now, man. Oh my gosh, my legs are shaking.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But music have a copyright. Music. That's
a
not a
light
good
breeze
thing.
drifts across the desert sand as morning sun crests above the mountains.
Oh.
All seems calm amongst the rock.
It's raining. It's raining.
Oh, that sucks. Sorry. Anyway, it's my grandma.
The outcrops, yet nestled down between the cracks and ridges, a powerful giant quietly slumbers. To disturb this creature by accident would be a literal nightmare. Disturb it intentionally, and you will likely seal your own fate.
Oh boy, sorry to get someone. Holy mackerel.
It sounds as if I speak of a creature from a storybook. This is no creature of myth and lore. It is a very real animal that since the mid-1980s has become one of the Southwest's most notorious threats. Killer bees. So what is a killer bee? Well, to keep it simple, it's basically a hybrid between an African and a European honeybee. They are typically more defensive, faster, and more aggressive than other bee species. Tucson, Arizona is just one of the places that has recently fallen under the cloud of killer bees. And today we will be working alongside bee specialist Chris Britton. Chris monitors several killer beehives that exist naturally in the mountainsides. And our goal is to extract aged honey from a wild hive so we can compare it to his locally farmed honey and determine which one is more delicious. Using a drone will help us locate the hive and determine exactly how we should approach it. This is an incredibly dangerous mission, so to protect ourselves from the thousands of bees that will be swarming and trying to sting us, we will be wearing bee suits. We are taking extra precautions by taping up the wrists and ankles to ensure the bees cannot work their way into the suits.
Okay, so this is the moment of truth. We are completely suited up. This is probably going to be one of the craziest and most dangerous things we've ever done on an episode of Breaking Trail.
The following scene was filmed under the supervision of bee specialists. Never approach a beehive in the wild.
Okay, Chris, so this is kind of our last checkpoint, about as close as we feel comfortable getting without the bees actually swarming out. Now,
I'm looking at the hive and I see there's lighter colored comb on top. In the middle, it's slightly golden, and then at the bottom, it almost looks like it's brown. What's the best area for me to extract comb and honey from?
We're going to go right to the center of this hive.
Okay.
So not in the dark and not in the completely light.
Okay.
So that light stuff is not going to have anything in it at this present point in time. The bees are working more into the layers of comb.
Okay.
So you're going to go right to basically the middle where it's a little bit golden, but it starts to just turn just a little bit. And there's some capped honey right there.
Okay.
It may be last season's honey, but it's right there is where the bees are going to be working, and we'll be able to just get in there and grab a bunch.
Okay, cool. Well, I think at this point, let's get into the hive and get this honey. You guys all ready? Cutting into
That's
the hive
scary.
causes no harm to the bees.
I'm
And
afraid.
this
I'm
extraction
afraid of
method is
bees.
commonly used by honey farmers. In the wild, hives are often invaded by animals, which in turn causes an increase with productivity. And in a matter of days, the hive will be completely reconstructed. Okay, I'm right underneath the hive. Whoa. Look at that. Do not want to get stung. Bees are starting to come out. You can see all the comb here.
And over here.
They definitely know that we're here.
You hear them?
We can hear them. They're going crazy. Wow, it's hard, very waxy. Oh boy, starting to get swarmed. Holy mackerel.
That's terrifying.
You see the cups stinging through the mask. Come. This is outer layer. Dude, you're like covered in bees right now, man. Crazy covered in bees right now. You gotta hurry up. Absolutely surrounded by killer bees right now. Fortunately, they are not seeing through the suit. I got a couple of good pieces of comb that have already come out here. There we go. Farm coming with honey. Ow. Some stingers are actually getting through my suit. I haven't been stung at this point. Ow! Jeez. Okay. I'm going to cut out a big section of comb from right in the middle. Can you see this?
That's good. It's not me there. I'll be terrified.
Oh, it's sticky. This is it. This is good honey. Oh, look at that. Okay.
This guy is so crazy doing this.
Golden honey. All right, I'm going to put it inside the mason jar here. Yep. Here, let's back up a little bit. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be out here and come across a swarm like this. This could definitely kill you. We are probably surrounded by 30,000 bees at this point. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. They're attacking the GoPro, they're attacking the cameras, microphones, everything is getting bombarded by bees right now.
It's hard to even touch the camera. I can't even get them.
True.
It's crazy.
This would kill you.
Look at that. That's about what we want right there. Woo! That's
Yeah. Wow.
absolutely filled with honey.
I don't want to turn on the camera on.
Basically covering the air with smoke
Because
so we can actually
some people have to think fair, like me. This would be
sting you all the way to your car.
nightmare for you and me. Because
I can't even
you have to
imagine what it
think
would be
fair like me.
to be out here and come across a swarm like this. This could definitely kill you. Wow.
Yeah, it would.
Well, we escaped the swarm of killer bees. Now the next step is to compare the killer bee honey to the European bee honey and see which one tastes better.
I love honey.
To the victor, go the spoils. What you're looking at right there are 2 jars of delicious raw honey. Now right here, we have honeybee honey. And on this side, the killer bee honey. Now, we certainly had to go through quite the ordeal to get both of these honeys. They're all in my face. We're absolutely surrounded by killer bees right now. But it was totally worth it because this is the moment we have all been waiting for. The comparison between killer bee honey and honeybee honey. Which one is better? You guys ready to find out?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Did we get the taste test also?
Oh yeah, you guys are gonna taste this too. Okay, I'm gonna start with the honeybee honey. You take off the cap here. Wow, that smells incredibly fresh. Big spoonful right there.
Oh wow.
I should go for it, right?
I think you go for the whole thing.
Wow. That's tricky. Oh, really sweet. I can taste all those granules of honey. They're starting to disintegrate in my mouth. Wow.
Yeah,
That
honey is
delicious. Oh my
super
gosh.
sweet.
That is an unbelievable honey. That might be the best honey that I have ever had. Here, let me get a little bit of this honey on the tip of the knife. There you go. Go ahead there, Mark. Just take a little
Don't cut myself.
squidge off there. Good. That's good, huh?
Wow. You could eat that straight like all day.
Wow. I took a big spoonful of that. Okay.
You feeling the sugar rush yet?
Yeah, I think I'm about to. Now, this is the one I've really been excited about. Now, let me get a gooey hawk of it out here. Let me just scoop some out onto my hand. Yeah, I'm going full Pooh Bear here, guys.
Oh,
And get my
Pooh
claw
Bear.
in. Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to do that. Oh, look at that honey. Look at the different colors in the honey. So you have the darker honey and you have the real white golden honey. Think it's gonna make me throw up?
No. That's like candy.
Whoa! That is crazy sweet.
What's the rest of it? Can you do a whole month? Can you do the whole cone? Oh!
Oh, wow.
Hey, Pooh Bear, how's that taste?
Very sweet.
Very sweet indeed.
It's almost making my eyes water. It's so sweet.
Bravo. I'm impressed.
That's so
that
crazy.
was quite the honeycomb you just had there.
Let me wipe off my face a little bit. A little more presentable. Wow! That is so sugary! I'm gonna be a major sugar high for hours right now. Woo! You guys want to try this, right?
Yeah.
All right, stick your finger out there. Just wait till it gets in your teeth. As soon as it hits your lips.
Wow.
Right? Now, both of these honeys taste amazing, but honestly, I think the Killer Bee honey is a little more tasty and a little more. Give me a rush of energy.
Yeah,
the
like,
second that it
I
hits my
think
mouth.
bears
But I
don't
think
get
both types
Killer
are
Bee
excellent
honey.
on anything that you put them on. Although going to get Killer Bee honey is something that I can never recommend anybody out there watching ever try and go do. Probably the best way to do it is to buy from a local honey farmer and have something that's pure and granulated, just like this.
Yeah,
And you put
that's
it
what
on,
I
you
would
put it
do.
on.
But I only get stung
Honey
with
goes good
beef.
on absolutely everything. I can totally feel like a sugar rush coming on right now. That is crazy. My hands are so sticky.
Hey, Pooh Bear.
What?
Didn't you get it?
What could happen in Ohio if issue 1 doesn't pass? Abortion banned with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women who miscarry could be denied emergency care. So vote yes on 1 to stop Ohio's extreme abortion ban.
Enough?
No. How'd that silly old bear get his paw into that jar of honey all the time?
Well, he didn't get his paw stung by bees yesterday.
Yeah, I got fat paw right now. Watch this. 2 bee honeys at the same time.
Hey,
Little honey fish.
Mario, there aren't any bears out here, are there?
Billy climbing in a honey tree, Pooh Bear, I know he's out there. It's me and it's you, oh silly old Winnie the Pooh. Well, I would say we endured quite a bit to get both of these honeys up close for the cameras. Aside from wearing the bee beard, which resulted in me being stung 32 times, to then scaling the side of a cliff to extract comb and honey from a Killer Bee hive. We went through it all to do this taste test, and at the end of the day, I have to say that the Killer Bee honey is actually the most tasty. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. One more handful. Good honey.
Yeah, but yeah, he's alright. Don't ever go somewhere
There are many
get
misconceptions
Killer Bee
surrounding
honey.
the Africanized honeybee. or as they have become famously vilified by so many, as killer bees. Nearly all attacks happen when a hive is accidentally disturbed, or a swarm is provoked by a non-professional who is attempting to exterminate it. And while many people are stung every year, very few deaths are actually reported. If you see a swarm or come across a hive in the wild, quickly and quietly move in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's what I
If you are
would
looking for
do.
some delicious honey, well, my advice is to support local and buy it from a honey farmer.
Yeah, that's what I would
If
do.
you thought getting swarmed by killer bees was
Because
intense,
that's
make sure
terrible.
to go back and see what happened when I tried to trade in my fur beard for a bee beard. And don't forget, subscribe so you can join me and the crew on this season of
Wow.
Breaking Trail.
That's crazy. That'd be painful. I would be terrified because of that. Oh. This person. Tiger Blue. Here. It's on live too. Okay, I'm not the only one doing live stream. And it's one time doing live on StreamYard. Yes.
How you feeling?
So maybe some names I might do live, but I don't want to be always because I want to see face some StreamYard because. Wait.
Marceline.
I'm worried about.
Marceline, the Vampire Queen, has been.
Yeah, I won't watch that. It's just talking about Marceline, not watching Backyard Time because the show might be copyright. And
Marceline, the Vampire Queen, has been rocking on this earth for over 1,000 years. So naturally, she has one of the most emotional family histories of the entire series. Out of these heartbreaking and heartfelt family moments, Marceline managed to write beautiful music to express the pain, loss, and love she's felt throughout the centuries. Today, we're going back to the Great Mushroom War,
she's my favorite girl
to see just who helped shape Marcy into
in
the
the
character
show.
we love. I'm Whitney Van Lanningham, and this is
I
Marceline,
don't
the
really care
Vampire
about
Queen's family
Princess
tree.
Bubblegum.
Before we get started, I want to let you know about our new Patreon. Since parting from Nerdwire, we've had to start over completely from scratch, and every dollar donated towards Whitney Vision makes a huge difference. Now, on to Marceline. Marceline was born half mortal, half demon to her mother Elise and her father Hunson Abadir, king of the Nightosphere. Not much is known about her parents' origin story. We do get a flashback scene where we hear just the tail end of Elise's story about how she met Hunson, but it's not very in-depth. All we know is that Hunson said fine, and then they got together. Dude sure knows how to lay on the romance. Clearly, Hunson didn't stick around long after his daughter was born, either because he's a deadbeat or because the family got separated somehow during the Great Mushroom War. But we'll get back to Hunson later on. After the fallout, Elise and Marcy wandered the wasteland of Boo alone together. Although she grew up during catastrophically dangerous times, Marceline was a very loved and well-cared-for little girl. Her mom worked tirelessly to make sure that she stayed safe, healthy, and somewhat entertained as they journeyed in search of other survivors. It's clear from watching the two together that Elise loved her daughter more than life itself and was willing to protect her till the very end. On their long walks through the desert, Marcy's mom would make up games, tell her stories, sing her songs, and encourage her to do art projects in order to give her some semblance of a normal childhood in the apocalypse. She put aside her own health, comfort, and safety to make sure that Marcy was always happy,
Oh boy.
even when they didn't have food or adequate shelter for long stretches of time. When Marceline starts to have nightmares, her mom reassures her that something weird in her dreams might just be something familiar viewed at a different angle. Marcy carries the lullaby her mom used to sing her to help her fall asleep throughout adulthood. It's clear that Everything Stays helps shape the way she views the world going forward. Unfortunately, during their expedition to find a bunker with other survivors, Elise starts to succumb to an illness. We don't know exactly what was making her sick, but my guess is radiation poisoning from the war. Marceline probably wasn't affected by the blast due to her demon DNA, but towards the end of their journey, her mom starts coughing up blood. Because she knows her time is limited, Elise has Marcy draw a map that will lead her to the bunker without her. The two continue moving forward, but it's clear that Elise is not going to make it. While playing a game of I Spy searching for shelter along the way, the two encounter a jacked-up mutated coyote pup. Elise smacks it away with a stick, but the mother coyote sees her from a cliff above and attacks her and Marcy. In fear and anger, Marceline opens her maw and sucks the soul out of the monster before it can hurt her and her mom. When she looks up, she sees Elise seemingly cowering in fear after witnessing her daughter exercise her demon powers. Marceline becomes convinced that her mom is afraid of her, and even though Elise briefly tries to reassure her, she doesn't fully believe that she isn't to blame. As they're talking, Elise starts coughing up more blood, and she realizes that she's going to die very soon. Not wanting her daughter to witness her death, she sends Marceline ahead to the bunker.
I kind of felt bad for her mom. Wow. But I'm gonna come back in one. Just give me a green tea. I'm back in one. Got me a green tea. I better not spell this. Man, I'm afraid. Oh man, sometimes I'm afraid to open these because it's gonna make a mess. It's so good. Green tea is the best.
Marcy doesn't want to leave, her mom yells that she doesn't have time for her, so she sets off to find the next destination on her little hand-drawn map. When she arrives at the shelter, all of the supposed survivors clearly did not survive. Alone, frightened, and missing her mom, Marceline creates little friends for herself out of random objects lying around the shelter. Talking to the gang, Marcy admits that she still thinks her mom abandoned her because she was freaked out by her soul-sucking skills. She believes her mom fixed the motorbike and saw her daughter's absence as her ticket out of town. It's heartbreaking to watch her doubt her mom's love for her, knowing that Elise only admitted the truth to protect her daughter, especially because it turns out that her mom left her a really sweet goodbye voicemail. Thousands of years later, during her quest to save the Glass Kingdom from the fire monster Larvo, Marceline returns to the bunker where she spent all that time alone as a child. She finally figures out how to play the voicemail, and for the first time, she hears her mother apologize for leaving her. All these years, she's let the thought of her mom being afraid of her hold her back from expressing herself honestly to the people who love her. Because her mom never told her about her illness, she's had a hard time communicating her own issues for most of her life, and it negatively impacts her relationships with those who care about her. But after listening to her mom's message and spending so much time with PB, Marceline finally realizes that it's okay to meet people, and that honesty will only strengthen the bonds with those she loves. Don't worry though. Even though she's a little less angsty after coming to these realizations, she still rocks harder than anyone in OO. But let's back up to talk a little about the man who raised Marceline after her mother's death, Simon Petrikov, later known as the Ice King. Marcy eventually left the bunker when she realized that her mom wasn't coming back, likely to continue her search of other living beings to cohabitate with. One day, Simon Petrikov sees her struggling alone in the street and offers her a teddy bear from a nearby damaged toy store. Hambo became Marceline's best friend and most sentimental object, simply because he gave it to her when she needed it the most. The two form a loving bond, and Simon feels responsible for taking care of her. Like Elise, he spends most of their time together making sure that Marceline is happy, fed, and safe. But Simon is dealing with his own set of problems that predate their meeting and subsequent friendship. Once a respected antiquarian with a special interest in supernatural objects, Simon purchased the ice crown from a Scandinavian dock worker without understanding its complicated powers. As he was showing off his new find to his fiancée Betty, he put the crown on his head for a moment as a joke. Simon blacked out during the experience and can't remember what he said or did in the moment, but his behavior scared Betty enough that she ran away and seemingly left him. He began having strange visions that continued even when the crown was off his head, and decided to start recording videotapes of himself slowly succumbing to the effects of the crown's magic. The videos themselves are heartbreaking. Each one features Simon slowly deteriorating and becoming less and less of his former self as he loses his sanity and transforms into the Ice King. The love he once felt for Betty begins manifesting as an obsession with princesses, because even though he can no longer remember anything about his previous life as Simon Petrikov, there's still a part of him that remembers the love of his life and is trying to find her in each and every one of the ladies in OO. Simon finds Marcy sometime after losing Betty, but despite continuing to drift further and further away from himself every time he puts on the crown, he believes that it's the only way to protect his new surrogate daughter. Marcy begs him repeatedly not to put the crown on ever again, but when danger continues to meet them as they traverse the remnants of the past landscape, Simon finds himself having to use the crown to defend her time and again. Each time the crown touches his head, he morphs further into the Ice King. His hair and nose grow longer, his skin is turning blue, and even in his human form, his body temperature continues to lower considerably. Marcy is terrified of losing Simon to the Ice King forever, and it turns out that she's right to be. Just like her mom, Simon makes the painful choice to leave Marceline behind so that she won't have to witness him succumbing fully to the crown. He's not only afraid for her, he's also afraid for himself, for what he's going to become, and he just doesn't know how to handle it. Marcy pleads Simon to stay with her, promising to help take care of him, but Simon tells her that he has to go. When he leans in to wipe a tear from her cheek, his frozen hands turn the droplet to a shard of ice, and it cuts Marceline just below the eye. Horrified by hurting her, he says goodbye and sleds away, leaving her alone in the last place they took shelter together. Simon summons Hunt and Abadir off screen, and Marcy's dad takes care of her from then on out for a short, undisclosed period of time. Although he clearly missed out on the majority of her early childhood, he shows up just in time for her angsty years. Unfortunately, her relationship with her old man has always been strained. You know that Kurt Cobain lyric from the song Serve the Servants, I tried hard to have a father, but instead I had a dad? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Marceline never felt like her dad truly cared about her. And when she was a preteen, she walked in on him carelessly eating the fries she had bought herself to eat. Although she was crying and visibly upset, her father never attempted to make amends or even acknowledge her feelings, which only led to more feelings of abandonment for Marcy. After leaving her father, Marceline was pretty much on her own. Lost without a family or a purpose, Marceline struggled to find her place until one day she saw a man who looked similar to Simon being stalked by a vampire. Although she quickly realized that it wasn't him, she made the decision to protect the man and his wife by staking the heck out of that sucker. She realized that slaying vampires and protecting humans made her feel like she was still capable of taking care of Simon. So she continued on with this new career trajectory. After staking each vamp, Marceline would use the demon powers inherited from her dad to suck the souls out of each one, which enabled her to take on some of their powers. During this period, Marcy ran with a group of humans who wore animal skin hats to protect them from vampires. This tribe was led by Two Bread Tom, who would go on to lead the humans to an archipelago that would become the set of islands that Finn would eventually originate from. The Islanders even built a statue in honor of Two Bread Tom. So yeah, Marceline used to protect and jam out with Finn's ancient ancestors. Marceline managed to stake every Nosferatu and Ooh, but we met several notable ones during the Stakes miniseries. Although they're not technically Marceline's family, they are responsible for turning her into a vampire, aka they're her vampiric lineage. The Empress, the Hierophant, the Fool, the Moon, and the Vampire King gave Marceline her powers, and each of them deserves an explanation for what that entailed. The Empress is named after the third major arcana card in a tarot deck, which represents beauty, femininity, luxury, and abundance. She wears a headscarf around the top of her noggin, only removing it when she needs to hypnotize someone with her piercing eyes. In addition to hypnosis, the Empress can make herself invisible. She can also produce pink sonic waves to weaken her opponents. When Marceline killed her, she gained her powers of invisibility. The Hierophant is named after the fifth major arcana card in a tarot deck, which represents institutional wisdom, religious teachings, and traditional belief systems. Likewise, the Hierophant is an extremely old-school vampire who still follows all the age-old rules, like the inability to enter a house without being invited first. When played upside down, this tarot card represents the inability to adapt, which is ultimately the Hierophant's downfall. However, one of his vampire powers is the ability to shapeshift his body, or any of his specific body parts, into other animals. For example, at one point he turns one of his limbs into a scorpion's tail to poison Marceline. Although the vampire himself doesn't produce poison, once in the shape of an animal, he inherits that animal's abilities as well. This means he can also fly like a bug or track Marceline with the power of a canine nose. After Marcy stakes him, she inherits his shape-shifting powers. The Fool is named after the unnumbered major arcana card in a tarot deck, which represents innocence, free-spiritedness, and spontaneity. While the other vampires in the group are pretty sinister, this little guy is more akin to a mischievous child. For example, when Marceline was hunting him, he treated the whole thing kind of like a game of tag. Afterward, Marcy inherits his powers of flight and levitation. The Moon is named after the 18th major arcana card in a tarot deck, which represents dreams, deceptions, and illusions. This vampire is the scariest one in the King's Court, in my opinion. Although she drops pretty glowing moon pearls and spends most of her time sleeping, don't let that fool you. The Moon's regenerative healing powers make it extremely difficult to kill her via stake, and she can survive being outside in the sunshine unlike other vamps. But the fact that she's almost unfuckwithable is made even more terrifying when you hear what else she can do in combination. The Moon has the ability to telekinetically paralyze her opponents, can run super fast, and is able to exhaust her prey by simply following them at a short distance behind them until they're too exhausted to keep moving forward. Obviously, this is like when you're walking beneath the actual moon and it looks like it follows you wherever you go. She also has a connection with the moon itself. It gives her powers, and it's implied that you're safer from her if you're out of the moonlight. Marcy gains regenerative abilities by slurping her soul. Lastly, we have the Vampire King himself, Marcy's greatest adversary. He represents the 10th tarot card, Wheel of Fortune, which represents inevitable change, destiny, and taking action. Many of the animals on the card, such as the lion, a bird, a snake, a human, and a sphinx, are actually what make up the king's body parts. He has the head of a lion, the torso of a man, the feet of a bird, and the hands of a snake. And even his cow companion is represented on the card by the bull. His character design is heavily based on the Mesopotamian version of a vampire, Lamashtu, who had a lion's head and a bird's feet. This dude has a lot of powers, so buckle up. Among his abilities are telekinesis, hydrokinesis, telepathy, teleportation, levitation, and of course being able to turn humans and animals into vampires. When he comes back as the Dark Cloud, he can also alter or warp reality and control the wind. Unfortunately, during her first fight to slay the last bat standing, the Vampire King manages to sink his teeth into Marceline's neck, causing her to transform into a half-demon, half-vampire. Although she lost her mortality and the ability to hang out in the sunlight, Marcy clearly developed a butt ton of cool new powers. In the Stakes miniseries, all these vampires return from the dead after Marcy decides that she wants to grow up by having PB remove her vampiric abilities. Most of these vamps are still the same D-bags from millennia ago, except the Vampire King, who also believes that it's time to break his old habits and grow into a pacifist. Unfortunately, after forming a truce with Marcy and PB, his pure vampire essence is fumbled by Peppermint Butler, and his dark cloud form starts wreaking havoc on Ooh. In this battle, Marcy realizes that the responsibility of keeping vampires and the destruction they bring away for good is her cross to bear. So, she accepts her fate as the last vampire and binds the dark cloud to herself. And honestly, dude, I'd say she's probably even more powerful than her dad by now. Did you know that Marceline also has a pet dog? There's a bit of inconsistent lore around Schwabble the vampire poodle, but here's what we know. In the show, she's seen traveling with a white-coated Schwabble during her vampire slayer phase. Some fans even think that Simon somehow secretly got him for Marcy after he ran out, but that's just a theory. According to the semi-canon books, however, Marcy did have Schwabble during this period of time, but he had a reddish coat instead. When Marcy first became a vampire, she ended up eating all the red from the poor poodle, nearly killing him. To save Schwabble, Marcy stole the Enchiridion from a group of wizards and used it to turn in part ghost. This is why you can see Schwabble hanging out in the background of Marceline's home hundreds of years after she first got him. He's even got his own dog door. Anyways, Marcy, baby, if you ever want to swing on by my place and gift Pugsley with immortality, my schedule is wide open. Sometime during her teenage years, Marceline started dating Ash, a fellow punk rocker. At first, their relationship seemed pretty okay. They moved into the treehouse hundreds of years before Finn and Jake claimed it as their home and started building a life together. But after dating for a while, Marceline began to realize that Ash wasn't right for her. He was shallow, selfish, and inconsiderate of her feelings, and she began feeling like she wanted to move on. One night, Ash came home and told her that he sold her most prized possession, Hambo, in exchange for a cherry blossom wand. Like I mentioned earlier, Hambo is the only thing she has to remind her of the happy days she spent with Simon as a child, and it means more to her than anything else in the whole entire world. Ash selling her Steffi to Maja the Sky Witch is the last straw, and she breaks up with him that night. After her breakup with Ash, Marceline went on to date Princess Bubblegum, but their first relationship didn't last very long. Marcy was still messed up and angry, and PB was a single-mindedly focused know-it-all, so the two of them ended up splitting as well. Don't worry though. As we all know, Peebs and Marceline slowly worked to repair their friendship and eventually start dating again. I think a huge turning point in their relationship came when Marceline asked her for her help getting Hambo back from Maja, and Bubblegum proves to her that the things that Marcy cares about are truly important to her. When they finally chase down Maja and her Crabbit familiar, the Sky Witch is unwilling to hand Hambo over to the princess. In order to get her best friend's sentimental Steffi back, she ends up giving Maja one of Marcy's old band t-shirts in exchange. Apparently, the emotional value of the t-shirt is even higher than Hambo's, so she eagerly makes the trade. Although getting Hambo back for Marceline didn't immediately cause them to get back together, I like to think that it was the beginning of them building back up the trust and respect they once had for another. Despite making progress in her other interpersonal relationships and learning to surround herself with people who care about her, Marceline doesn't see or speak to her dad for hundreds of years until Finn finds out about the whole fry eating situation when Marceline plays him the sad jam she's been working on about it. In a well-intentioned effort to repair the relationship between Marceline and her father, Finn summons Hunson from the Nightosphere, where he had previously been imprisoned. Free to run around sucking souls and doing evil, Hunson steals Marcy's base and begins wreaking havoc. In order to stop him, Finn plays him the song that Marceline wrote about how unloved and unseen she felt after he ate her fries. Hunson finally realizes that he's been kind of a shitty dad and apologizes to his daughter. While his apology is slightly touching, Finn splits open his soul sack, releases everyone's spirit, and sends him back to the Nightosphere before Marceline can get full closure on their fallout. But this encounter does reopen the line of communication between the two of them, and they both start making an effort to fix their relationship. Marceline begins hanging out in the Nightosphere occasionally and invites Finn and Jake down to party at her dad's place. Like most dads, however, Hunson is hell-bent on convincing his baby girl to join the family business and take over as his successor to the throne of the Nightosphere. He tries to persuade her to rule the underworld with him, but Marceline tells him that it's just not the path she wants for herself. She clearly lets him know that those are his dreams, not hers, but of course the king of the Nightosphere has tricks up his sleeves. Hunson gives Marceline a cursed amulet that transforms her into the ruler of all demons. His business clothes zap onto her body, and she immediately begins kicking ass and sucking souls. Jake and Finn wake up in jail, unable to remember how they got there, so they set out to find Hudson to ask him to send them back home. To their surprise, the person they believed to be Hudson turns out to be Marceline under the amulet's influence. They narrowly escape her via portal, but once they arrive back at the treehouse, they realize that she needs their help. The two race back to the Nightosphere and confront Hudson, who tells them that he just wanted his daughter to reach her full chaotic evil potential. Luckily, Finn and Jake start a demon riot at Marcy's palace to distract her long enough to rip the amulet off her neck. Once she's back to normal, she tells Hudson that tricking her really sucked, and although he gives a half apology for the whole cursed amulet thing, he does tell her that he's proud of her for who she is, and that he really likes her friends. The next time we see the King of the Nightosphere is during Peppermint Butler's sword forging ceremony. After creating the Night Sword for Finn, Pep-Butt calls upon Hudson Abadir to properly bless the sword with his night magic. Of course, after being summoned all the way to Ooo, he wants to make the most of his trip, so he asks permission to go visit Marceline. The gang is hesitant at first, but Peppermint Butler binds his powers so that he can't suck any souls or do anything evil on the way there. When he reaches his daughter's door, Hudson starts having second thoughts about his visit. He wonders why he always messes things up with her, and through a series of flashbacks, we see that he just kind of is negligent and oblivious to the things that are important to her. Obviously, he doesn't realize that he's the problem here. But when Marcy sees the gang outside, he does go through with seeing her. After some awkward moments where Hudson behaves pretty selfishly and without regard for Marcy's personal space, Finn and Jake let slip that the Vampire Queen is playing a concert that evening. Her dad insists on going to see her play, and although she's massively embarrassed, she agrees to let him tag along to the show. But at the concert, Hudson goes right back to his overly intrusive ways. He steals a camcorder from some guy in the crowd and pushes his way to the front to film Marceline. He ends up getting into a fight with several of the other concert goers, but because he's still shackled and saw his powers, he starts getting his ass kicked real bad. He stands up for Marceline when they start coming for her, and for the first time, Marceline feels like her dad actually gives a shit. Finn slays the ghost boys trying to nuke the father-daughter duo, and Marceline flies them away to safety in her bat form. At a diner after the fight, Marceline thanks her dad for finally seeing her, standing up for her, and being there for one of her adventures. Of course, instead of playing it cool, he immediately starts asking her when she's gonna give him grandkids. Ugh, typical dad. In addition to her father, however, Marceline does still have the Ice King in her adult life. Because he doesn't remember anything about her or their life together, their relationship has changed. Marceline had to move several times to stop him from coming over and bothering her constantly, and she's gotten burnt out on trying to help him remember the past. But Simon is still in there, way deep down. One day, he decides that he needs Marceline's help writing a song that will get him ladies, so he ventures over to her new home. Although she's exasperated that he managed to find her again, she agrees to help him write the song. When the Ice King tries to give her a romantic kiss, Marceline pushes him away from her and begs him to remember that he's Simon. In order to try and jog his memory, she begins reading pages of Simon's scrapbook that he brought with him to their jam sesh. Through his writing, she learns how terrified and alone he felt while he was losing his mind to the Ice Crown, and finally sees his perspective from a more grown-up point of view. Like I said earlier, his behavior towards Marcy was so much like Elise's. Because she was just a little girl, he didn't want to burden her with his slow deterioration and complex emotions, so he kept how he was really feeling hidden from her behind a mask of the silly songs and wacky games they played together. She wasn't fully able to understand the magnitude of what he experienced back then when she was so young, but in writing the song Remember You Together, she's finally able to empathize with his experience. In his letters, Simon begged Marceline to forgive him for whatever he does when he can no longer remember who she is. I think hearing that from him, even in his Ice King state, really reminded her how much she loves him and how fiercely she wants to protect him. After they hung out that night, Marceline started making more of an effort to include the Ice King in her life. Even if he's weird and kind of zany, he's still her family. About halfway through the series, a group called the Secret Society, made up of Forest Wizard, Laser Wizard, and Bufo, head to Wizard City to free Bella Noche, a being of pure anti-magic that is trapped within. Their goal is to learn a new kind of magic in exchange for his release, but the Grand Master Wizard warns them that catastrophe will strike if he's set free. Just then, the Ice King reveals himself and starts begging the guys to let them into their club. Bella Noche seizes the opportunity of this distraction to absorb the power from the magical items the Secret Society brought and breaks out of his entrapment. Free from his shackles, Bella Noche's essence of anti-magic deactivates all traces of magic powers from the surrounding area. This switches off the Ice Crown, temporarily reverting the Ice King back to Simon. Realizing that he doesn't have much time before his 1,000-year-old body fails him, Simon races to Marceline's side to beg her to help him open a portal. He explains that he needs to talk to Betty to let her know what happened to him, and to apologize for scaring her away all those years ago. He asks Marcy if he can please use Hambo to open the portal. Because of his rich sentimental value, he'll be powerful enough to allow Simon to communicate with Betty in the past through time and space. And although she's heartbroken to give him away again for good, Marceline lovingly agrees. Hambo's energy allows Simon to speak to Betty just long enough to explain himself, and he successfully lets her know that he loves her and that he's so sorry for anything and everything he did while under the Ice Crown's spell. But before the portal closes, Betty decides to jump through to be with him. When she arrives on the other side, however, she learns that Simon is dying without the magic of the Ice Crown to keep him alive. Desperate to save the love of her life, Betty whisks him back to Wizard City. She promises Simon that he'll only have to wear the crown again for a little while until she can figure out how to fix it and bring him back to her. And he agrees to go through with it. Betty punches out Bella Noche, restoring the Ice Crown's magic and transforming Simon back into the Ice King. Reverted back to an eccentric magic dude with no memories of his past, the Ice King returns to his wacky ways as Betty is left to watch him hopelessly from afar. For the rest of the series, she works tirelessly to find a way to reverse the effects of the crown, taking out anyone in her way that tries to stop her. She teams up with Magic Man to harness the power of the mighty deity Galb in hopes of restoring the Ice King back to the man she loves. But her plan goes horribly wrong. Although she's able to turn the Ice King back to Simon, Betty, Finn, and Simon are swallowed by Galb. While being slowly digested in his stomach, Betty and Simon are finally able to have the heart-to-heart they've both needed for all those years. Betty apologizes to Simon for obsessing over bringing him back to the point where she not only let her life go to waste, she also low-key caused the destruction of the entire universe. The two kiss and solemnly...
Okay, that's it, everyone. Get a like, comment, subscribe, press the notification bell, and I'll see you. I'll make a video tomorrow. Bye.